here at GoLocal. I'd like to welcome my first guest in, Chris Daltry. Nice to have you back.
Thank you, Kate.
It's good to have you here. It is warming up outside. It's going to be in the 80s tomorrow. All eyes are on the weekend. Cinco de Mayo falls on a Saturday, and so does Taco Fest PVD.
That's right. Yeah, I think we've done this for a number of years, and it doesn't always fall on the date, but it's also doesn't wind up being sunny every time, so that's what we're hoping for.
So it starts at 11 o'clock in the morning, and tell folks again, it's only Tuesday, but people are starting to make plans for the weekend at Grant's Block.
Yep.
Free open to the public, lots of vendors, what to expect?
Well, the event is from 11 to 6, and its focus is tacos, hence the name. So there are, I believe, 10 different food vendors, some food trucks, some are setting up in Grant's Block with bars and tacos and food. And then adjacent to Grant's Block is a big parking lot where I've booked a bunch of vendors who are selling records, vintage and handmade stuff. So,
rock and roll yard sale.
The Providence Rock and Roll Yard Sale.
So you've got food, you've got drink, you've got things you can purchase. I mean, this is a block party.
Yeah, and this one every year is special because it's the first outdoor event in Providence. You know, somebody might beat us to it in the future, but if the weather's good, people come out and it's a celebration because it's warm finally, it's sunny, it's Cinco de Mayo. So,
Now, is this family friendly?
yes, absolutely. Okay. Most of the street is dedicated to activities for kids. I believe there's like chalk they can draw on the sidewalk or the street. There's I believe a florist coming that you can have like a crown made for
a little crown of flowers.
And more. I don't organize the kids' activities, but there's a bunch of stuff for them to do. There's food for adults and kids, and then a lot of our vendors also have stuff for kids like shirts and onesies, and people that make handmade stuff often include kids in their in their wares.
So I got to put you on the spot because I had to ask Rich Pizzillo when he came in yesterday about the upcoming Bloody Mary competition, what you liked for Bloody Marys. What makes a good taco?
Well, I mean, the people.
Gotta bring it over here a little closer.
The people that are, it's a range of taco trucks coming, so they all have their different, specialties. But growing up, I grew up in South Carolina and Virginia, and nowadays there's a lot of ethnic diversity there, but then the only taco we had was like Taco Bell. And moving up here, and if you go out Atwells to some of the, or even Central Falls, there are these crazy authentic taco places. So they don't look like what you might have grown up with.
You've come into taco nirvana here.
Yeah, so slow roasted like meats and not your typical ground beef is a good sign. If you see like a radish or something, something different.
Kick it up a little bit.
Yeah, spice, and a lot of them do stuff for vegetarians and vegans too. So it's a new world for tacos.
Options for everyone.
Yep.
We'll have links to the Taco Fest going on. Let's talk a little bit about the rock and roll yard sale, because I mean, music is really sort of your forte.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's something that my wife and I started about 15 years ago, and we started it. We had been going down to New York to sell at the largest record fair in the U.S. It's the WFMU Record Fair. It has maybe 200 or 300 vendors just selling records. And they used to do it twice a year, and we started to count on both of them for income, and they decided to go down to one. And we got to thinking on our ride home, why don't we do something like this in Providence? And this is before all the like Providence Flea, which is great, but it's before any of these events were happening in Providence. So it gave people a venue to, that if they didn't have a storefront, or if they do, it allows them to get some exposure. But it also became like a magnet for people that sell different things besides records. So vintage clothing sellers, people that sell vintage housewares. But the big change for it was opening it up to people that do handmade stuff. And they take it very seriously. It's often how they make a living. So having a mix of these things allows for shopping for, if you went to just a record show with your girlfriend or your wife, they might be bored.
Offers a little bit more than just music.
Yeah, so there's plenty of different stuff, and it's not just records. People sell CDs and tapes and posters and memorabilia as well.
So when you go to these as a music aficionado that you are, and you know the vendors and you know the folks, are you just going through and looking for sort of that diamond in the rough, or are you looking for something specific? Do you have this album? So what is your mindset when you go into the yard sale? Is it just, let me see what sort of gem I can find?
I like that, because I've done this for so long that there isn't much that at least I know that I'm looking for. So I like the surprise. But often, vinyl has been in a resurgence for some time now, and new people are getting into it, and they don't have every record by every artist like I might, or somebody else. So they're looking for a specific record or CD, whereas I like kind of wandering.
What do you think is behind the kind of lasting power of vinyl and the reemergence of vinyl, sort of in this era of digital music? Why has vinyl stood the test of time?
I think it's because it is a lasting thing. It's hard to explain why the resurgence has happened, where younger people are getting into it, except maybe their parents have dragged out their old turntable and they've become interested and fascinated by it. It is a fascinating medium. You should have a turntable with these old...
We should add it to the old media over here. But vinyl is just still popular.
Mm-hmm. It's an experience. And even like a cassette or a CD is an experience too, but it's something that you can't get with streaming music or iTunes. You can touch it, you can feel it, and it's hard to throw away something. So, a record is a beautiful thing. That's why
vinyl can persist. And what about liner notes? Digital music, there's no liner notes. Talk with me about the importance of liner notes.
Well, it's like when I grew up, in the 80s, I was buying records, and I would buy a record by a band I liked, and by reading the liner notes, I started to discover other people, other artists, this was produced by so-and-so, and then you go buy their record. So it's important. And you don't get that. You can Shazam something playing on streaming or whatever, but you don't learn about who made it, where it was made. So it is important.
Well, we're glad that we're able to provide some live music here in the Alex and Ani Lounge. Want to be talking to you about that in a little bit. But want to talk with you sort of about the last year, Chris, because it was about this time last year that we had you in when What Shear said, bye to Thayer Street. Yes. So just bring folks up to speed. What's the year been like for you after you made that decision to exit Thayer but still stay, completely in the music arena?
It's been... realizing it has come up on a year. Retail is special, the relationship you have with people that come in, your customers. But the overhead and the headaches can be a little much sometimes. So my wife and I work at home with our cats, and we like it. It's hard to say if we're if the income is enough, but it's nice. And it's something we've been doing all along, but it feels, there's something missing in not being there for the next crowd of RISD and Brown students every year. And, we definitely miss it, but it's definitely easier.
Well, maybe we can get some of those RISD and Brown students down to the Taco Fest.
That would be great.
To the rock and roll yard sale on Saturday. Find out, the people who've been around. I mean, we talked a little bit about this. Do you head up to Thayer Street? Do you see the changes that have continued, or is it even just sort of tough to go back?
We do. In fact, I'm heading over there to pick something up after I meet with you. But it's just, the change has been ongoing for so long, and it's definitely why we left the street. We could have found another space, we could have worked on it, but it's just heading in a direction that doesn't include independent, small, locally owned businesses like ours. It's headed towards corporate places like Shake Shack, which is moving in. It's not going to be the experience it was for people that grew up in Providence in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. But there's still a few great shops there and restaurants, so the students have stuff to do. It's just
not quite the same. So how important then, talk about the yard sale, is it to sort of, maybe fill that void, to have that day, that sort of putting the band back together, everyone comes out?
Well, we do it twice a year, every spring for Cinco de Mayo, and then in the late summer or early fall in Somerville in the Boston area. And that does fill the void to some degree. People come by and they hadn't seen us in a while or even a year, but it's good as long as the weather's good, because they're both outdoor events.
Speaking of things being good, I believe I checked out the Taco Fest's Facebook page. I believe it said 1.4 thousand people said they're going.
Yeah. So I think the interest this year is stronger than it's ever been. Our partner is in Down City, Providence, who they have done everything they can with marketing, and essentially this event started as something for their tenants, to sort of bring people downtown to Westminster to sort of entertain residential tenants, but also the commercial tenants, to give them a boost. And every year, I don't know if you've been, but you really can barely get
bigger
down the street.
So do you advise folks to just take a deep breath? It's Saturday, it's Cinco de Mayo, make a plan for parking and transportation.
Yep.
Maybe anticipate a few lines, but if you're going to have a cocktail, chew responsibly.
Of course. And it's every year the event has grown, and we've added more and more food and drink vendors. So hopefully the lines will be long, but if you don't want to wait in line, come down early. It's 11 to 6, but if you come down at 3 o'clock and it's sunny, you're going to wait a while to get a burrito or a taco.
So be prepared to just chillax.
Yep.
It is Cinco de Mayo.
Yep.
There's plenty of people around to have a good time with and check out the yard sale. So we'll provide those links as well. Again, I know it's Tuesday, but the sun's coming out. You can feel the spring fever.
You want the weekend now?
You can feel it creeping in after the last month that we have. But Chris Daltry, I appreciate your taking the time to come back
Absolutely.
in. Taco Fest, rock and roll yard sale starting at 11 at Grants Block here downtown. We'll provide those links, and we look forward to talking with you soon.
Great.
Okay,
Thank you,
Chris
Kate.
Daltry, thanks so much.
Bye.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with our next guest here in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center.